All right, fellas. So, what do Scarlet Witch and Daredevil have in common?
What?
I don't know.
They both lost their vision.
Oh.
Ooh, what a
Oh.
stinger.
Cuts deep.
Apro-
Lordy.
Apropos to today's video, though.
Absolutely, man.
It's not too soon because it happened some time ago, but
Man, well, welcome people of the internet back to another video here on the Real Heroes podcast channel. We got Corey, Nick, and Kevin here, and boys, the week is upon us.
It is indeed.
The Marvel drought of what I believe is like 560 something days since Spider-Man Far From Home is finally coming to an end. Disney Plus is premiering WandaVision with not one but two episodes on Friday, which is very exciting, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. We're gonna go through what we know about the show, which is really not a whole hell of a lot. We're going to speculate on what we think is going to happen and what makes us excited about it. So just to
before we get started, actually, I was looking at the results of our last Twitter poll and found it really interesting.
Social media plug. I like it.
Yes.
Very good.
We asked what character you're looking forward to seeing most on WandaVision, and Vision got 0 votes last time I checked.
Yeah,
that is true.
I think so. I don't know if that was the final count, but man,
it looks like it's all Wanda and Monica Rambeau.
Yep.
Which I can't fault anybody. I voted for Monica Rambeau.
There's a couple votes for Agnes in there too.
There we go. All right.
So everybody except Vision. Nobody cares about Vision.
Yeah, I mean, I think my thought was for a couple different scenarios where it's like he's not actually there. He's not real. It's all a figment of her imagination. So it's almost like we're only seeing an illusion. We're not seeing anything substantial or real. Yeah. So it's almost like, well, let's see people that are real, like Monica, Agnes, and Wanda.
Or maybe it's like Quill in The Mandalorian, and when you fucking fumble at the finish line and then Thanos takes the stone out of your head and kills half the universe, you don't get any love. Who knows? I don't know. Just
when you
lose a little bit of fan support.
Yeah, when you get yeeted twice in one movie, that's pretty bad. Kylo Ren didn't even die twice in one movie. All right.
Almost though.
So here's the official synopsis for WandaVision that's straight from Mickey Mouse's mouth. Marvel Studios' WandaVision blends the style of classic sitcoms with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in which Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and Vision, played by Paul Bettany, two superpowered beings living their ideal suburban lives, begin to suspect that everything is not as it seems. This new series is directed by Matt Shakman. Jack Schaefer is the head writer. Debuts on Disney Plus this Friday, January the 15th. So obviously we get a little bit of what's going on in the show from there. We kind of know, if you've seen the trailers, that it's going to hop through some of the sitcom eras, the decades. I think it starts with the 50s and then kind of moves its way into modern times. Last week, Disney actually sent out some screeners to some critics, and some of their reactions are as follows. Brandon Davis from comicbook.com said, WandaVision is truly unlike anything the MCU has put out before. I can't emphasize that enough. It's a blast to watch. It's so committed to the sitcom structure of storytelling that it feels like a bold risk, but it pays off and builds a mystery. It is awesome. Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are tremendous together in the show. Their chemistry comes through brilliantly, and they're a blast to watch. Bettany is especially having a good time, and it shows. There's so much heart, fun, mystery, and darkness between Wanda and the Vision. Stephen Weintraub from Collider said, I've seen the first 3 episodes, and I love how big of a swing Marvel's taking with the series. The reason the MCU is king of the hill is Kevin Feige's amazing leadership and willingness to take risks, like what you'll see in WandaVision. There's some other ones. They basically all say, like, this is the perfect way for Marvel Studios to introduce itself on television. Fans are going to be happy for a long time. It's a fantastic creative spin on the sitcom format. A lot of people saying that Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany have just killer chemistry together, and it's you know like a truly outstanding pairing, and it's great to see them because they're kind of side players in the movies, and they get to be center stage here. So you know, going off some of that stuff, I mean, like, boys, what's your hype levels for this show currently?
I'd say on a scale from 1 to 10, probably I'd say an 8 sounds about logical to me, mainly because it's going to be great to see them centered, like you said. You know, they're both really powerful, or at least Vision was powerful, but we caught a glimpse of how powerful Wanda was or still is, right? We saw her in Civil War. You know, she threw Vision down God knows how many floors of the earth, right? And then almost 1v1s Thanos and wins.
Yeah.
So, you know, seeing her back with Vision, it'll be fun. Vision obviously no longer with the Mind Stone. Yeah. We'll see how, if he has any powers, but
well, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Feige said that Wanda is the most powerful character in the MCU at this point?
He has said that.
Yes.
So that by itself gets me a little bit hype, just because I want to see what she can do. On the other hand, I don't think we're going to necessarily see the full range of that in this series. I think it's likely going to be in the next Doctor Strange movie. No. But that in itself is actually one of the reasons why I am hyped to see this movie, is because I'm really excited to see how this plays into the greater MCU storyline and what that is leading up to.
Sure.
Because I mean, I have certain ideas in my head of where we're going with with the whole Wanda Maximoff storyline.
Yep.
And I hope it's headed towards a House of M type thing. I think that'd be an amazing way to, you know, introduce mutants that we now can introduce. Like a lot of pieces can come together. And I have a feeling that this is the groundwork for all of that.
Yeah, I think we might see a reverse of how it happens in the comics when she essentially makes all the mutants disappear.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going to make them appear.
Okay.
I think so. It's the opposite. She's going to be like, I don't know how it's going to come into the fold, where there might be some sort of talk about mutation or being different or being unique, and almost like someone might key drop name drop the word mutants or mutation, and then who knows, she might just speak it into existence as she's going crazy within her mind and in the magical plane of the supernatural or something, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, there are mutants. And again, like, I don't think we're going to see any of this series, but more so leading up to maybe when Doctor Strange happens in 2022, right? I think November, something along those lines.
Yeah, it's 2022 because they're filming it right now, out in London. But your point sparks some interest, because if it is a reverse House of M, and instead of saying no more mutants, it brings mutants into the fold. Are there mutants in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Are there mutants in Loki? Like, that could blow it up for not just Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3, which are obviously, you know, connected to this whole multiverse idea with Doctor Strange or whatever. But man, that could be super, super, super exciting.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say they could be there and we just might not see it or know it. But then whenever they're introduced, we could potentially go back and be like, they planted them as Easter eggs this entire time and we just never saw them, because they could be, you know, back characters or something like that. But we'll see.
Yeah. I get the feeling that this is just a really good way to bridge the gap from all of the Fox stuff coming over. I mean, we got word this week that Deadpool was coming definitely to the MCU with an R rating. How do we explain that? He lives in a world of mutants, kind of is a mutant. You know, to how do we bring the Fantastic Four in? I mean, there's so much that can be done. And you know, Wanda can be the key to all of that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, guys, they weren't even allowed to say the word mutant before the Fox merger, right?
Right. Like, they never called Wanda and Quicksilver. They never referred to them as mutants. They were like science projects.
Enhanced or whatever, right? Is that what they refer to them as?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Enhanced.
And I don't think she's ever been referred to as the Scarlet Witch in the MCU either, right?
Nope.
I don't believe so.
It was either the twins with her and Quicksilver, which I don't think he was ever called Quicksilver either.
No, I don't think he was.
He was just Pietro, right?
Pietro, yeah. We just knew him as the Maximoff twins.
So do you think she'll be called the Scarlet Witch by the end of this show?
I think she'll be called the Scarlet Witch definitely by the end of Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I don't know about this show because it is called WandaVision. So,
right. Although I think I wonder if we'll get some sort of Easter egg, right? Because we do see her in the OG Scarlet Witch uniform or costume, just like we see Vision in the OG costume too, right? So I wonder if there's some sort of, it looks like there was like a Halloween skit or something along those lines.
Yep.
I wonder if they're gonna be like, "What are you?" And she says something like, I'm a red witch, or I'm a Scarlet Witch."
Oh yeah,
something like that. I think we might get something along those lines, but as a hardcore name, I don't know. I mean, maybe like Kevin said, after Doctor Strange 2 happens, where she's not referring to herself as Wanda, or maybe people aren't referring to her as Wanda. They're referring to her as Scarlet Witch. We don't know. It's like, who knows how bad things get to where she stops referring to herself by her real name. They could go with it a couple of different ways, but I mean, I'll be excited either way.
I do have a feeling that it's going to be she's going to like inflict that moniker on herself. That's my feeling, is that she's going to refer to herself as that, because she's going to come either out of this or out of Doctor Strange in that really fragile mental state that you see her in the comics. So that's probably when she can start fracturing and maybe even develop multiple personalities, or you never know.
So Kevin, do you think that leads to her having like a villainous role in Doctor Strange 2?
I think it sure would be interesting. And look, the fact that we're introducing the X-Men at some point, right? And we're introducing a lot of these other properties at some point, in an alternate dimension, and we've already said, or alternate, multiverse, whatever existence. We know that the multiverse of madness is coming, right? In the comics, obviously, Magneto is her father.
Yep.
So there's a lot of this stuff that ties in together. Wouldn't that be a cool ass way to kind of introduce Magneto? As in,
I was just thinking that
a different reality, he is her father and she is a villain. So yeah, I mean, I think we could see that, maybe not with the Wanda that we know already, but potentially with Wanda on the big screen. I do think we'll see it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
very well could be.
On the topic of family and dead people, Vision's dead in this show. We mentioned Quicksilver. Is there any chance that you think, like Nick, do you think that Aaron Taylor Johnson showed up and shot a few scenes for this as a manifestation of Pietro Maximoff?
It's possible. I was just kind of thinking along those lines with, how they would bring Magneto into this. And of course, he would have to be a certain age. I'm not saying they're going to get Sir Ian McKellen to reprise his role. But
although it would be dope.
Oh god, I mean,
it would be badass.
It would be amazing. Like that was it'd be the same thing as like saying getting Hugh Jackman to be Wolverine again. Who just knows? I think they both said on what's the oh god, I can't think of the BBC show,
the Graham Norton show.
That they both were like officially retired at the same time. Same thing with, or maybe it was also Sir Patrick Stewart, who was also on there, because so it's like all three of them, the OGs, all retired from playing their mutant characters, which that's great. Again, it'd be great to see them back, but again, to see Quicksilver come back, it'd be cool. I think it's possible at this point, if she's imagining all these things, and if she's going through maybe things that might be like PTSD related, or if she's just making things up as she goes along in this, I don't know, alternate reality rather, maybe she's like, I miss my brother. You know, I wonder what happened or what life would have been like to still have him around. And so maybe he comes back. Maybe he's got like, you know, the white hair, white streaks.
That'd be cool.
Something like that.
Or maybe it's played by shoot,
I know you're talking about
Evan Peters.
Yes, maybe it's played by Evan
cool
Peters
too.
instead.
That'd be cool too.
There's so much.
It's him, but it's not him.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's an alternate reality, it would still make sense. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Or if it's like a pocket universe, like one of my theories is that they understand how powerful she is and how volatile her powers can be.
Right.
And this sitcom reality that her and Vision are in is like a prison that is being set up to try to detain her, kind of similar to what they did in Civil War, where Tony had Vision keep her at the Avengers compound while everybody else was off doing the fighting and, you know, the avenging. They were doing, you know, paprika and cooking and shit in the kitchen. So this might just be like the evolution of that, and how do we keep Wanda from destroying the universe as we know it? And hell, by the end of the series, that could happen.
Very true.
But speaking of family, again, there are two babies in the trailers also.
So
there are some babies.
What about the babies?
We're assuming that they're Wiccan and Speed, right?
Yep.
So are they real, or are they a manifestation in her head just like Vision is, or what? Kevin, what do you think about that, man?
Well, I mean, I think you've covered most of the possibilities already, right? Like I tend to think that you're right. I think she's in some type of mental prison. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen that happen in TV or comics or whatever. She's somehow being held captive in her own mind so that she thinks everything is hunky-dory, so that because she may, you know, after the events of Endgame, who knows like what kind of fragile mental state that she's in.
Yeah, exactly.
And she may, you know, we may find out that she has actually done this voluntarily. But later on her mind is kind of rebelling against it, you know, real similar to like a Total Recall kind of thing or something like that.
That'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool. As opposed to it being like induced, right? Like she's
absolutely. She said, no, put me under
into this state, right?
I don't want to be responsible for anybody's deaths. You know, I can't control myself. And maybe there's some flashbacks that happen and stuff like that. What we're seeing right now is happening, you know, obviously inside whatever this world is.
Yeah.
But if Disney has done anything with these trailers like they did with Mandalorian, it's probably only the first couple of episodes. So there's probably plenty that we're not seeing yet, and shit might get actually explained over time rather than some big huge reveal at the end. So we'll see. I mean, but if she is in there, it's probably just a manifestation either of some children that she actually had in the real world during this gap in time, or just wishful thinking.
That is true. Her and Vision, you know, he turned off his transponder and they kind of jetted off to Scotland together and didn't want to leave. So,
and that was super abrupt. That getting interrupted there
also presents the question: can androids reproduce?
I was about to say, you know, how would she have gotten knocked up? Essentially,
I don't know, man.
Because he talks about changing, right? And just like in Civil War, when Tony says something about how'd you miss, and Vision's like, I don't know.
Right.
So I think he could have knocked her up and not know. I don't know how that all works.
I mean, he was powered by an Infinity Stone, which is beyond comprehension. So fuck it. You know?
Right. Beyond our train of thought. Absolutely. I think it would maybe be a little bit wilder in her illusion. She, you know, Vision's essentially human, right? They knock boots, and she comes out of this whole thing and is then pregnant, like being in an alternate reality or some other sort of, you know, pocket dimension, right?
Yeah.
And it has you know, uh, you know, android sex, and then it's all of a sudden like, wait, how am I pregnant with twins? Like,
and what if they come out and they both look like Thanos, and you're like, what happened? And then she's like, well, I did get fucked by Thanos pretty hard. So.
And then we get the MCU version of Maury Povich saying, Thanos, you are not the father.
oh,
and then he proceeds to dance off the stage.
Oh man.
Oh dear Lord.
Hello, my baby. Hello, mom.
Man, that's some wild stuff. So do you guys think because of the fact that this is connecting to Doctor Strange 2, and just because it's on Disney Plus, Feige has said this is connecting to the films. All the Disney Plus shows are connected to the films. Do you think we'll see Benedict Cumberbatch show up as Doctor Strange? And if so, is it actually in like a substantial role, or is it in like the post-credit stinger at the end of the season that kind of says, hey, come see Doctor Strange 2 in 2022?
I think there's a good chance that we see a cameo. Just because I think he's like a lot of the future of the MCU is kind of riding on his character at this point. So I think there's a good chance that we see that. I think there's also a good chance, like, I mean, we see Monica Rambeau in the trailer, right?
Yes. Right.
To our knowledge, Monica Rambeau was a little girl.
Yes.
When
in the 90s.
The last time we saw her in the 90s, right? And to our knowledge, we have not seen Monica and Wanda interact.
Right.
Correct.
So how would she be manifesting a real person that she's never met before? So I'm wondering if part of the show actually happens in actual reality. And if so, then I think there's a definite chance that we're going to see Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I think that, and I don't want to get too spoilery here, but I think that Monica's plot and her arc has to do with Sword, which is kind of taking the place of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because Jimmy Woo is reprising his role from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Kat Dennings is reprising her role from the Thor films. I think they're all some form of Sword agent / scientist, and Sword's job right now is keeping Wanda from exploding the entire universe.
I definitely think so.
Do you guys think that Doctor Strange could be holding her in stasis? Actually,
he's powerful enough. I think
would be.
I mean, you saw the stuff in Infinity War when he's fighting Thanos. All the manipulative magic that he can pull off, it's a genuine possibility.
She could just be in a room somewhere under the influence,
like she was in the beginning of Age of Ultron when she's just locked away in a little tiny man. What bad a trip. Memories. Imagine you go through the whole 9 episodes of the show and she's just been in like a padded wall room.
Feels bad. I mean, I think that would be pretty interesting and kind of reveal his character as a cameo, right? He's sort of, he has some sort of part in this manipulation of Wanda, or I think either that, or maybe he shows up at the end, maybe like you were saying, Corey, as a post-credit stinger, right. Where all this happens and he catches wind of it and opens a portal and then is there and is like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
And then that's where maybe Doctor Strange 2 sort of
kicks off,
and then
that would be fantastic. Like if the end of WandaVision and Doctor Strange just are like butt up against each other, like seconds apart, that'd be amazing.
So what a way to tie things together, like literally.
I like that, but the one chink in the chain on that is Doctor Strange is also showing up in Spider-Man 3, which comes out before Doctor Strange 2. However, that movie is technically a Sony Pictures release and it's not a Marvel Studios release. So do you think that Doctor Strange just like pops up because he's like, hey, what's up, Peter? I'm multiverse hopping. See ya. And that's his cameo in Spider-Man 3? Or do you think that WandaVision also ties into Spider-Man 3, which then also ties into Doctor Strange 2?
Dude, I think that's a good point. Maybe this actually is the catalyst for the multiverse that we're all expecting to pop up in Spider-Man 3, which will probably get explored more in Doctor Strange. This feels like a mini arc right now.
I think so. Like the pre-build up, right? So it's this sparks everything. I think we said this before, but I believe the show is the catalyst, the premise to everything that's about to happen in phase 4 in its entirety. Everything sort of rests on how WandaVision starts and ends, but then everything else continues, right?
Yeah.
But I think maybe to sort of fit Spider-Man 3 with WandaVision and Doctor Strange 2, I think maybe Strange is hopping and is kind of seeing what's going on, or maybe that whatever Wanda does, like she makes shit go haywire. Meanwhile, that's happening in Peter Parker's, Spider-Man's sort of own timeline, and Strange is like, what's going on over here, and then realizes it was Wanda, and then sort of shows up at the end and says like,
what happens in Spider-Man 3 could happen concurrently with WandaVision,
right?
And then at the end of it, he shows up and says, "What did you do?" Yeah, I like that too. That's
regardless. I think we have to assume that WandaVision is extraordinarily important for the future of the MCU.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise, there'd be no reason to introduce such a wacky fucking concept for a show. With a character who's dead and one who's distraught. Like it's a really strange premise to go off. I mean, given we don't know that much about it, but it is a very strange premise to go off of if there's nothing writing on it, Right. So I'm prepared for, to buckle up because
However, Kevin, if Wanda is responsible for the potential return of Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn, she is immediately my favorite character in the MCU.
I was just about to say, I don't know if he would prefer
Doc Ock, come on.
Oh my God, dude. If all that weird shit that we're talking about for Spider-Man 3 with multiple Spider-Men, multiple villains, J. Jonah Jameson, all that, if that's all because of Wanda basically creating the multiverse, holy shit. Like, wow.
Yep.
Would you say she's the MVP or the MIP? So most valuable person versus most important person?
I don't know.
Because
it depends. Does she ruin everything or does she make it better?
I think it could be a mix of both, because it's like she's valuable in the sense of what she might bring to us in terms of story with the introduction of mutants, Fantastic Four, perhaps. Like, we don't entirely know, but I think that might be a possibly like logical decision to kind of go with, like, for Feige to kind of bring everything to the table, but also maybe she starts it, but maybe she also sort of helps kind of wrap things up for a certain phase or two.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think she's a definitely important character.
Oh yeah.
Possibly, top 1 or 2 important characters within this phase. I mean, I think Strange is probably the other person. Now that Cap and Tony are gone, right? They were like the 1-2 combo for most important characters, I'd say. I think they're going to sort of take the throne or take the spotlight, right? Maybe Spider-Man too, but like
it's hard though because of the Sony thing. Like they can't put all their eggs in that basket for money reasons.
Guys, what about this? All right. The MCU as we know it has its own set of kind of villains that we know of so far, right?
Right.
Then you've got the Fox Sony world over here that has their own set of villains, right? If this brings all of those villains together and we're looking for a way to fix it, who's the smartest person in all of Marvel? One of Reed Richards. Would be a fucking fantastic way to introduce him and how important he is, in at least that one universe. So
sure. Yeah. And rumor popped up that they're eyeing Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play Reed Richards.
Interesting.
Really, instead of John Krasinski, huh?
Yeah, apparently he's not on the table anymore. But I like JGL. I think he's a solid actor. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'd like to see some maybe some concept pictures. Boss
Yeah.
Logic, get
Boss
to work.
Logic, let's do it, buddy.
Yeah,
Will it into existence, Boss Logic. Thank you.
But no, I think JGL would be a good fit. I mean, I think he's a good actor. I think he could bring a lot to the table for the MCU. So
And he'd just be the latest one to cross over from DC to Marvel.
Yeah, no shit.
Pretty much.
Him
I
and
mean,
Christian Bale.
Add him to the list.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
From the same damn movie.
Yep. I am looking forward. I think you mentioned it earlier, Corey. I am looking forward to seeing Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, their chemistry.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a highlight and a very pleasant thing to see. I think for Elizabeth, her acting and her portrayal of Wanda has, definitely grown since Ultron, right? Age of Ultron's
not great in that movie.
Which, and again, like I know she wasn't like a main,
wasn't a great part, really,
front character, but it's not. It's not her fault. It's Joss Whedon's fault.
And they forced a terrible accent onto her.
Yeah,
and especially in Ultron, it like her accent like starts here and then it just gets smaller and smaller as the movies go on.
It's like, as
they're gaslighting us. They're like, no, she never had an accent. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like I think the logical like format would be no. You know how when you spend more time in like another country, you start to lose your accent. This is what happened to Wanda. Deal with it.
It's like Madonna. Come on,
she's got out of Sokovia and now she's just straight up American. So
yeah,
right.
All right. So to wrap this up, I want to ask you guys in 30 seconds or less, what is, aside from plot and story and everything, so we kind of went over a lot of that, what is your hope for this show? Like, what is one thing that you want to get out of it that will make you go, yes, this is a solid first outing for Disney Plus, and I want to see more Marvel TV shows?
I want to see like you said, an extremely strong story that is, strung together, that actually matters. But the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is the nostalgia of this show, because I grew up as a fan of Nick at Night, watching a bunch of stuff that I like. I wasn't alive for the Dick Van Dyke Show and Donna Reed and all this kind of stuff, but but
you've seen them, right?
And I love reruns. And all kinds of stuff that this is kind of hinting at. And then obviously I grew up watching TV in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and it's like this is spanning so many different time periods of television,
decades.
It's kind of what we need right now. I want to feel good. I want to be able to watch some cool shit but also feel good at the same time. Whereas most of the time, a bunch of the cool shit that I like leaves you going, ugh. It's like, well, that was awesome, but damn.
Darker or heavy or...
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones stuff. It's like, that was awesome, but like they burned a baby. Like I didn't want to see that, But I'm hoping that this will be extremely cool and also kind of heartwarming at the same time.
Okay, good answer, Nick. Follow that.
Wow. Maybe she just makes the entire MCU explode. I don't know.
It's like the comic Deadpool kills the entire Marvel universe. It just replaced Deadpool with Wanda. She
brings Thanos back again.
And he kills Vision again.
Third time's a charm. He's really dead now. I think, man, I would love to see, again, I spoke on it earlier, the some sort of derivative of mutants. That would be my hope. And I think that's what I would like to take out of this, because I do think there's a high possibility. I think you could make it work for the story, not just for the series, but for the entirety of this phase 4 for the MCU, leading up into other phases that are to come, 5 and 6, and whenever we face the big baddie, except we're gonna have mutants and Avengers and Fantastic Four, like the entire gang will be here this time, right? It won't just
Secret
be
Wars.
Avengers versus Thanos. It'll be a bunch of people fighting a big baddie. Kang the Conqueror, perhaps Galactus, perhaps. So that would be my hope. I'd say mutants.
Cool.
Mutants.
I think for me, all I want from both this and all of the other Disney Plus shows that Marvel's doing is I just want them to be different from the movies.
Sure.
Like I love the movies. I own all of them. I bought some of them multiple times because you've watched on this channel. I've made a major switch with my media, and I've gone back and bought some 4K stuff on disc again. But like,
by the way, check out Corey's last video.
Correct. Subscribe.
Game and Infinity War.
I love those movies. They're terrific, and I will watch them over and over and over again until the day I die. However, TV opens up an extremely exciting opportunity for Marvel to do something they haven't done before, to do slower burn stories where it takes a little bit longer to kind of peel back the layers of the onion to get where we want to get and see what the revelations are going to be. And I just want the show to be fucking weird. Like I want it to be one of those things where it's like, what the hell did I just watch? Are we sure that's a Marvel property? But it's still awesome at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I think for the most part, I think the only one that's coming out this year that's going to feel the most like a Marvel film is Falcon and Winter Soldier, because it's going to be like that global espionage type Captain America feel. But I think everything else, like this, Loki, the What If show, Miss Marvel, even Hawkeye to a degree, I think they're all going to be kind of strange and different. And that's, if I get that out of WandaVision, I'll be thrilled. If it's like a clear indicator that Marvel is saying, like, buckle up because we're going to go in a direction that you maybe aren't expecting, then I'm in 100%.
I just had one last thought. What if instead of Doctor Strange showing up saying, "What did you do?" it's Cable.
That'd be dope. And it's Josh Brolin.
What did you do? It's Josh Brolin. What the fuck did you do?
And then he kills Thanos or Vision.
Then he just
because it's the same actor.
Vision destroyed the future. He must be terminated now.
But I mean, Cable, he died twice already. I don't care.
He's the protector of the realities.
That is true.
That'd be dope. I mean, now, Josh Brolin could reprise his role as Cable and not have any weird altercations with him also having to play Thanos in the same frame.
That'd be great.
Because Thanos, he also died twice in one movie. They killed him twice in Endgame. So him and Vision have a connection forever.
Should have just went for the head.
It's all about the stones.
I used the stones to destroy the stones.
I tell you what, Kevin Feige's got some stones. I'm stoked about this show.
He's a fucking gangster. I'm sorry. Like, he's a stone cold killer. I love that guy. He's so good.
He like we said before, I think in our chat, there's someone that we can trust, I think, with the future of definitely
television,
MCU or television for that matter too. Yeah, it's Kevin Feige, So
hey Kevin, come on the show.
Yeah,
we'd love to hear from you.
We won't ask for too many spoilers. We got to refer to this Kevin as either Dr. Jones, who's not a real doctor, or the Deep. Yeah.
Man, speaking of Feige, like those interviews he's done lately.
Yeah.
How on earth does he not crack and just like let everything out of the bag? Because people ask him tough.
Because
questions.
He's not Tom Holland.
That is true. He's an adult male and he's not a child.
Yeah. So who's the villain in Spider-Man: Far From Home? Oh, that's Mysterio. Well, I mean, it's no one. Just kidding.
Yeah. At the same time, though, Ruffalo's just as bad.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. They're both like.
He had that incident where he was live streaming on like Instagram or something at the premiere of Thor Ragnarok, like the red carpet, and then he didn't turn the live stream off, and like the first 30 minutes of the movie, the audio was live streamed through his account or whatever. Like the snipers are on the roof ready to take the fucking Hulk out.
It's like, okay, boomer.
You have to hit the stop button on your phone when you're done.
Right.
I love it. Mark Ruffalo's great though. He's terrific. I can't wait to see him.
Supposed to play a doctor unless you can't figure out a cell phone.
So is Tom Holland. We love all of you guys. Please
can't
come
wait
on
for
the
Cherry.
podcast.
Can't wait for Uncharted. Can't wait for Spider-Man 3. I will watch him in anything he does. So
yeah.
Cool. So I think that's gonna wrap things up. I hope you guys are excited for WandaVision. As you can tell, the three of us
we obviously are
very excited to watch this show.
Couple days.
If you have any theories or speculations or what you'd like to see, we would love if you'd leave a comment below and let us know. We'd love to engage in conversation with you on that. Also, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on notifications so that way you never miss anything, whether it's a video like this, an episode review, a 4K HD Blu-ray review, a video game review, or a stream from Nick. Who knows what might happen? Kevin might even shine his shoes live on YouTube. You never know. It gets weird here from time to time. So definitely keep an eye out. We got a lot of content coming this year. We're very excited to share it with you guys. You can also find us on social media. We're on Twitter at Real Heroes Pod. We're on Instagram, Real Heroes Podcast. And if you'd like to send us any questions, or if you'd like to be on the show as a guest, please give us an email at realheroespodcast@gmail.com. But until next time, we hope you guys enjoy the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.